We got no.
This is a two-player game. The idea where you and the friend have to work together to beat it. And this simple idea led to a new genre of Roblox games, two-player obbies. And in the past year or so, two-player obbies have completely blown up, with many games getting millions of visits. So this is me, and this is my worm game. But wait, let's start from the beginning again. I first needed an idea. And well, these two-player obbies usually had a funny idea like, yo, what's this game even about, bro? That was the best 9 Robux I've ever spent. So essentially my idea is, you know that joke where a girl would ask their boyfriend,
would you still love me if I was a worm?
And that's the game idea basically. I know, genius, right? But enough of this boring stuff. Let's get into the pairing system. I needed to make a way for the players to actually get with each other, so one would turn into the worm and the other would stay the human player. So I got straight into the coding. Now, I don't want to bore you guys with the gibberish, but essentially what happens is when the players enter these booths, they get paired up and the game starts. And now it actually works. When the players enter these booths, a timer starts, and when the timer ends, they get teleported. But as you can clearly see, there's no worm, and with no worm, there's no game. So I made this amazing worm. Yo, you are ugly! Yeah, I made this little... But it won't work instantly. In Roblox, when you make custom characters, you have to do something called rigging so it doesn't... So that's what I did. It wasn't too bad, but now you can control the worm. But this looks really boring, and it's because it's missing something really important. Animations. Now, I'm not good at all with animations, especially with custom characters, but I needed to make a running, jumping, and falling animation. Yo, what the... What did I make? And now it finally works. When the players get paired, one turns into a worm and the other stays a human, and they have these nice little animations. And now this marks step 1 as... And now it was time to move on to the carrying system. Since the game is about loving your worm, that sounds so weird. But basically the human player will be able to carry their worm in a flower pot, and they'll be able to drop them so the worm can press buttons. But I had an issue. The game that I was copying off of taking inspiration from, their carrying system had physics, so their egg could fall out the tray. So I wanted to add physics to mine as well, until I realized I'm an idiot and I do not know how to make that. So instead I settled for the worm just being anchored. Why don't you just use Brilliant? What? You want to learn how to program or become an even better programmer than you are now? Well, Brilliant, the sponsor of today's video, makes it super easy to do exactly that. Brilliant helps you become a better thinker and problem solver with a lot of fun interactive lessons in math, science, and most importantly, programming. Whoa, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. And here's the best part. You can learn anywhere. The Brilliant app works on your computer or your phone, so you can literally be learning programming while waiting for the bus. And what I especially love about Brilliant is that each lesson is hands-on, letting you play with real problems instead of watching boring videos. It helps you think like a real programmer. And this method of learning has been proven to be up to 6 times more effective than watching boring lecture videos, because let's be for real, you're probably gonna forget most of them. You're seeing some of their programming courses here, and every lesson is fully interactive and hands-on, and I assure you, you will not get bored learning. These are great if you want to start building up computer science fundamentals and learn the same kind of skills you'll use in Roblox scripting and game development. That's why if you want to start learning smarter, go to brilliant.org/noodly or click the first link in the description. You can get started for free and get 20% off the annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything on Brilliant. So big thanks to Brilliant. But I was still an idiot and I do not know how to add physics to the carrying system, so I just settled for the worm to be anchored to the player. Wait, this looks like something else. Hey, yo! But first, we need something that can actually carry the worm, so I crafted something that I put so much time and effort into, making it the best model that I have ever made. A flower pot. I then made it work by essentially checking if the player is the worm or not, and if they're not the worm, then the flower pot gets welded to their torso. And it works, the flower pot gets stuck to the player's chest, but it looks really awkward right now since there's no animations. So of course I had to make some more animations, and in my opinion it doesn't look too bad actually. Then it was time to make the actual carrying system work, and how I made this one work was pretty simple. When the player goes up to the worm, there's a proximity prompt that pops up and they can pick it up, and then there's going to be these other proximity prompts around the map where they could drop the worm. But that looks... Yo! Bro, why is this game so free? So to recap, the player can now carry the flower pot and the worm, which I think marks step 2 as making it time to move on to the map. This was the part that I've been dreading the most. Building and modeling is not my strong suit at all, but I finally got myself to work on it. It's just a map, bro. It can't hurt you, right? But since I can't model, I had to hire someone. I think you guys know him pretty well. His name is the toolbox. But enough messing around, let me tell you guys the game plan for the map. Now, most 2-player obbies, they're not like regular obbies with checkpoints at every stage, and instead they only have checkpoints at the end of every section, and each of these sections are like one big obby, which make these type of games really hard to complete. For now, there will be 3 sections. The first one will be the grassland, second one will be the desert, and the third one will be mountains, which is why I had to lock in and build this stupid map. Guys, check this out. Oh yeah, I outdid myself this time for sure. Wait, where's the rest of the map? Yeah, so that entire montage was just the lobby, which took like 3 hours. So if I wanted to get this game done sometime this century, then I had to lock in. So I got straight to work on the first section, which was going to be the grasslands. Okay, come on, I've worked on this section for a hot minute already. I must be like at least halfway done, right? Yeah, I'm gonna hire a builder. Basically, I do not want to build, so I made a post on Hidden Devs looking for a builder. Then I got a message from this guy who offered to do it for 15,000 Robux. So while he was working on the map, I got to work on other things. Now remember when I said how 2-player obbies do not have checkpoints? Well, what they do have are revives. Like, look at this game asking me to spend 39 Robux just to revive. Like, how money hungry do you have to be to eat? Anyways, I made a revive system, so when players die, they can use Robux to purchase revives. But can you really blame me? Like, these games are probably raking in dough from these revives. And it totally works, right? Like no bugs at all. Bro, why does this keep happening? Anyways, after a couple of days, the guy finally came back to me with the map, and let's just say it's insane. Let me just show you guys. And in my opinion, I think this was pretty worth it. Now all that was left was for me to code the actual obby, but first we needed things for the worm to actually do. So the idea was that the worm would go into tunnels and click buttons which would activate parts for their partner to jump on. So after a bit of coding and errors of course, and some building, and even more building, I finally got the whole obby to work. So now take a look at this first challenge. The player needs to drop the worm into this hole, and the worm presses this button to activate the bridge. And in this one, the worm presses these buttons which activates the player's paths for them to jump on. And this first checkpoint was just like calm and easy until you get to the last one and you're just like... But I won't show you guys all the stages. You guys need to check that out yourself. Links in description. With the obby built and working, that marks step 3 as... And at this point, the whole game was practically done, but I was missing one more thing. I wonder what I'm missing. Yeah, so I was actually not close to done, and I had to add checkpoints, UI animations, skins, trolls, data saving. The first thing I was going to tackle was the UI, so I first created these buttons, and then I created the actual GUI for each button. I then animated the UI so it works, but it doesn't work. What? But we'll get back to that later. The next thing I wanted to add were the checkpoints, so I implemented them, and now when the player completes a section, they walk through this invisible part which the server detects. Then it saves what checkpoints the player has reached, and they'll be able to teleport to it using this GUI I made. After that, it was time for a very important part of every game, monetization, because who doesn't wanna spend 400 Robux for 10 revives? Yo, that's even more money hungry, bro. Why would you ever add that to your game? Okay, now we have the system. Luckily, it wasn't too hard to add. Moving on, I added skins because apparently people go crazy for cosmetics. Yo, look over here, look what I got. Hey, yo, chill. So I hit up my builder again and I told him to make 12 skins in total. And they look pretty weird, I'll give you that. I don't don't think worms are supposed to have cosmetics. But the idea is that the players would get free skins for every checkpoint that they would complete to make it feel more rewarding. And there's obviously still Robux skins because I proceeded to code the system itself, and don't even ask how long this took. I had to create icons for each skin and it was just so time consuming, but after like 10 years I got it to work. Lastly, I added this trolling GUI because apparently everyone also loves messing other people's day up, so you can just... And after speedrunning through all of these implementations, I think it's safe to say that the game is finally... But before I release it, I want to let you guys know that I created the long-awaited Discord server. The link's going to be in the description. And right now, I'm in need of a new YouTube profile picture, so I'll be hosting a fan art competition and the prize is 5,000 Robux. So join up for more details, but let's go release the game now. So, it was time for you to hit like and subscribe. Yo, chill, I'm just kidding. But I actually released it and... Yeah, so in Roblox, for any game to actually get players, you're going to need to advertise it. So I spent a decent amount of Robux on advertisements and I waited. Look, the first players joined. Let's see what they do. Bro, why are these guys just sitting in the lobby doing nothing? Are they even real? Oh, look, these two players started the obby. Let's see how far they can get. Okay, they did not get far. But it looks like players are actually enjoying it, which is a win in my books. So the ad just ended and it got a 5% CTR. That's actually insane. So I ran more ads after, and only time will tell if the game actually hits the algorithm. But that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just want to thank you guys so much on the support lately. We're almost at 10k subs, so let's try to hit it. I really do appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart, but as always, have a great rest of your day and peace.